Hey, it's 4th of July weekend. Woo! I just came in the shop, so the AC ain't been on for long, and so it's hot as you know what in here. But I thought I'd make a quick little video because I've been seeing a lot of photographs in the past 6 months on the forums for stump grinding and all about the 252 and guys rolling them over. Listen, if you don't have the duals on this machine, they can be, I have to advise you, they can be dangerous at times, especially if you're going up a hill. You can't go up at angles, you have to go straight on. And if you are going up at a certain angle, use your head, swing it over into the hill, not out of the hill, into the hill to counterweight yourself as you're going up. All right, same thing if you're going down, all right? You just gotta be aware. But the best thing for these machines, they're an older design. Later on, they came out in the front, instead of having basically the tricycle setup, they came out with 2 tires, and that somewhat helped them, but they're a narrow machine, and they're easier to flip. So the dual setup is a better setup. Now, a lot of you guys that own them, have never seen the dual setup or how they work, and I'm just gonna show you in this, and I'm gonna show you some little maintenance type thing or little problems or how to address them. And I'm gonna show you a tool you need to get. I don't care about the particular brand. The minimum you need is a 3/8 drive. I have a 3/8 and a 1/2 inch drive and a 3/4 inch drive, the Earthquake from Harbor Freight, okay? So this one is a 3/8, it does this fine. And if you have the duals, this is a way to take the duals off fast. Time, you have to understand something. Time is money, okay? And so if you have to take your duals off to get through a gate to get into the backyard, you use a tool like this instead of just a ratchet. Years ago, we didn't have this. I just used a ratchet. I even had a speed thing like I forgot what you call them, whatever. There's speed to take off plugs and all. We did it with race cars, crank them, take out plugs fast and stuff. And so that was without using an air tool. So the tool, 3/8 drive, they're 1/2 inch bolts if you've never seen this. And also the same tool, sometimes you may have to take off some gate hardware or a metal fence to just squeeze through, so this tool is great for that too, and you get to write them off if you're doing this as a legit business, all right? So, and you use them for all different applications. So let me turn this around so you can see what the problem we have here. This machine's been sitting in the shop, tire went low, so I'm also going to teach you some precautions on how to, some of you are going to look at this and say, who wouldn't know? My son wouldn't know, a young guy wouldn't know, and some of you that haven't been around mechanical things, you won't know, but after you see this, you'll know. They're just simple things, whether you even, if you have a riding lawnmower or something like that. The same trick I'm going to show you works on that, all right? It's about inflating the tires. All right, hold on a minute. All right, here's the dual setup. All right, you see how much further they stick out? Let me get a tape measure so you can see, hold on. All right, with the tape measure, from the metal part right here, you're looking at, I know the camera throws it off, but you're looking right at about 7.5 to 8 inches of extra width on each side. All right, and believe me, it counts for a lot. You gotta go both sides. So say if it's 8, you got 16 inches of more. And you see how much it sticks out, okay? Keeps you from teeter-tottering, especially when you're aggressive or if you're in a pile of chips. That's when these accidents happen too. You're doing a bigger stump, you might be on a little bit, or the chips themselves are like this. If you don't have duals, you gotta rake it flat. Back out, rake it flat, and then approach it in. Right? To avoid teeter-tottering, falling down, because the ground gets soft or you go a little harder and it's a hole there or an angle dip. These machines will flip. You're out there, especially if you're doing a big stump, you're out here for a while, you get tired. When you get tired, things happen. All right, On the duals, there's just 2 bolts that hold them on. Let me see if I can get this. Let's see if I can do it with one hand. Hold on. And that's why I say these impacts. Time is money. I gotta show you something when you take this off. Hey, I'm one-handed. All right. The back side of these duals. Perfect ring, okay? Except for it has a notch. Let's see if you can see this notch. Turn it around the right way. You see your notch? On your stock rims, they're already built for it. They have a notch right there. They have a little piece of steel sticking out. When you go to put this rim back on, it centers it to where it lines up your holes. And the good thing about it is when you try to get these bolts back in to line up, and this is something you need to know too. So when they're in, and you got it lined up on that notch, you can reach in this hole, it's big enough to line it up, and by hand, start them. By hand, start them. Do not go crazy and just, you don't want to cross thread anything. So you hand start them, then you use your impact. All right? Now some of you have these machines and really just getting used to it. Both sides is an engagement right here, okay? Comes in or comes out. That's locked. So both your wheels are posi tracked now. All right, they're locked, you go forward. Now if you go into place and you need to turn really, really sharp, you disengage that, turn it halfway, the wheel-free wheels, and you're able to, one wheel's powering you either side to go around real fast. Otherwise, when they're posi locked and you're trying to go around something tight, the machine jerks and stuff because that wheel's being dragged. All right, so you need to put a little lube on here because they do freeze up because a lot of guys, they're always left on posi. So, and the hole is big enough to reach in and get that and pull it. All right. So there's another thing I want to show you. On these machines, especially if you're not running duals, always check your tire pressure, or I suggest you get them foam filled. Foam filled is really the best. I'm sorry, I'm sweating here. The AC is trying to catch up. It's like 95 in my shop right now. This is going to be a terrible, terrible week for us. It's going to be 100 and something degrees all week. All right, so we understand that. Now, this is going to happen to you. Whether you have duals, whether you have singles, whether it's any machine, a riding lawnmower, you know, what's going to happen is you're going to get your tire pressure deal. All right, and you're going to try to put air in here. And let me get this set up so I can show you. All right, I was showing you how to do that, make basically a tourniquet with this, right? My preferred way, because I had the tool right here, rather than cranking so hard with a screwdriver, turning it and trying to get it tightened, is use the ratchet strap. You see, hooked in between each other, there's a little bitty ratchet strap right there. It's tightened, right? What it does is it pushes the tire down, what causes it to, the beads to bulge out, right? The center goes in, the beads come out. And then, let's see if I can get air in here. Yep, she's already doing it. Now don't fill it up all the way, because you gotta loosen this. And that's what you don't want it so much air to where the thing snaps on your finger. Now these are supposed to take 50 psi. Cold, 50 psi. I hope my air compressor won't kick on. There we go. There's the tire on the boot. All right, so that's like your emergency tire repair on yourself. Also, what I want you to do is I want you to go wherever, eBay, Amazon, or wherever, you know those tire plug kits? Especially on this tire, it's a pain in the neck. You gotta pop this to get this whole rim off. Get a tire plug thing. You may have ran over a nail on a construction site or somewhere on the, whatever. You ran over something to where you can plug it yourself. One of those cheap kits. I think they're like, let's just say they're $5 or less, all right? So that's a plus to put in your toolbox. This one here, hold on. All right, tires are filled up. Your pin has got a little lube on it, especially if you're in the northern part, or a part to where, you know, rust prone, let's just say. Make sure and lube that pin right here, the one that frees you from causing your tractor up. And then with the wheel up and free, it's always going to rotate most of the time to where your guide set is right there. Let's see if I can do this. Leaning away from the camera, right in the hole. Now remember I said you reach in here with your hand, you can find them. I'm not even looking. I'm not even looking. That one's already guided. That one's guided. I'm doing this like a blind man would do this. All right? Impact. Set it on. Don't over tighten them. You'll know what tight is tight. And we're set. Then I'll reach in here. That's the great thing about being able to reach in here. Pull the pin, move it around to where it locks in, and we're locked. We're positively locked right now. Okay? With all that said, I'm sorry if it was a little drawn out, but it was about, you know, field repairing. You guys got to know this, all right? And also one more thing, I want you to build a little toolbox. Go around with a wrench or a socket, find out these machines, you're only going to need like 3 or 4 different sizes to fit this machine. So build yourself a little toolbox just for this machine. Keep it in your truck. Or, you know, it's got a tray in there, but I don't like to put anything in there. It gets really dirty except for teeth or something. Build a little box, keep the box with you at all times, and then you're set. You got trouble in the field, you got tools with you that fit every nut and bolt on here, and you can change a belt, you can do anything out in the field, rather than having to come all the way home. That's just me, that's my 2 cents, been doing this, I don't know, over 25 years. So, there you go, 252, and listen, these deals about tires, if you're running a machine, and it's getting older, these tires do lose air because the rubber gets old and it loses air around the beads. And you can put a little bit of grease around it, or you go to a tire shop that got this special stuff they put around it. It's almost like it's a rubber cement, it's black. It works for a while, but the best cure for them, even if the tires still have good tread and everything, is to foam fill them. And especially with your heavier machines, it's just, me, I rotate machines a lot, so if I was going to keep them for a long time, like I had Big Booty Judy, I'll have those foam filled. I change the tires. So anyway, God bless you. 4th of July weekend. Have a good one. Enough said. And thank you for spending some time with me. I appreciate it. I could pass it down to somebody. I mean, that's what I'm here for.